Sorry, I was in the team chat, and Arkisti reminded me that we're supposed to be here actually, so that others can see.
It's okay. I started there too.
I go wherever the people are.
Makes sense. Yeah. So the rationale for the public chat is so that non-team members can discover. In fact, I may as well post somewhere that we're having our weekly call right now. Copy link. How's everyone doing today?
Very good. The sun is out. I got a cold beer and I'm just chilling here. How about you, Lynx?
Well, I don't have a cold beer. That sounds great.
It does sound really good now. Now I feel like I wish I had one.
Right? It's like
I was
9
wondering if you got
it's new
flood
somewhere.
tonight.
Oh my God, was there flooding though? Because like I was just like working away, so I wasn't privy to all of the things that were happening because I was just in my own apartment. But my wife was also home, and if you looked out our window of the office, because she had the office that day, just like you could see all the flooding. Like the DVP was flooded, like this trail where the rail line goes through was all flooded.
I saw some pictures of Toronto and it looked absolutely wild. Like, people hip deep, their cars totally submerged. We had some pretty nasty flooding around here in Paris, but it was like nothing compared to the pictures I saw of Toronto. So I was hoping everything was cool with you guys.
Yeah, because I'm right by the Don River, which is apparently the river that flooded. And it was super high, and it was like spilling over onto the road beside it. Like I can see it from the window that I'm at right now. So yeah, and I was oblivious to all of this because I was on the other side of the building, and there was no flooding there. It was raining, but it was nothing crazy. And then my wife went to go pick up the kids, and because like the major road that everyone uses to get out of Toronto, the DVP was completely flooded. So just like starting from 5 p.m. to like 7 p.m., it was just like honking for like 2 straight hours of people like honking at each other trying to get home through like the local roads. It was brutal.
I know those days when the traffic becomes like the honk festival. It's never good.
Yeah, everyone is just pissed off. Well, it is what it is. Anyways, I guess we should get started. I will share my my screen so we can see that. Weekly all hands. All right, GM, one and all, we are here at our weekly all team tactical, and we're going to use this time to sync up on all the work that's going on around BCard. We're going to eliminate blockers and prioritize our work for the next week. On the lag metric side, 102 transaction volume, a bit low as we are, so -1 on that, so kind of even as last week, but this is what we're trying to achieve, so we're going to be doing a little bit more work on that as we go. On the lead metric side, this is what we think is going to move the needle on the lag metrics. We have 1 new user, 3 communities deployed, and 6 returning users. So still pretty low on all of these metrics, and this is the work that we need to put in. On the team-wide side, I've been working a little bit on the strategy doc, some more work on the business model, specifically the financials. We can go through this, Arkisti, in the ops meet, but basically it's more of when we're looking at the strategy, it's more aspirational, whereas go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries. And we'll talk about it a little bit further down in the discussion. So we can look at some of the financials there. From a milestone perspective, well, I don't see any new users here, but from a milestone perspective, we have 1,000 weekly transacting users. That's our goal. On the reward flow, our user tests are complete. Thanks to everyone who did a user test. So we have some main output from there, basically show the wallet connection status. And actually all of these kinds of 3 wallet related things are connected. Basically, this flow is pretty complicated from a wallet perspective. We have tried our best, and it looks like maybe the way to go on this is to turn it into a gas-free claim. So we'll end up paying gas. Works out because most of our coins are on L2s. I realize as well that the gas-free claim might make it easier for us to deploy on non-Ethereum networks too, potentially. Anyways, it's not something that we have to worry about right now. But the idea is we're going to show the wallet connection status potentially and check for wallet connection after the user decides which token to claim. But if we're doing a gas reclaim, we might not even need to do this. So yes, we're working on this. We also had some feedback on the copy. So the copy, to make it more understandable, and the UI in terms of claimed and unclaimed was not very obvious. So definitely some updates we can make there, and hopefully in the next week or two we will get all this stuff updated. This one is a big one, but we shall see, at least on the other things. So we have a new launch coming up. Pooled together, we have all the assets that we need from this community and expected to get up for testing this week, which includes the support docs. So Pooled Together, if you don't know, they are a no-loss savings protocol. I think like 2 years ago, they went through a pretty public lawsuit, which was leveled against them by just the powers that be. We'll say it that way. Because it's somewhat complicated. And they recently basically were, I think like in the last 6 months, were kind of cleared. So this is, I would say, a great brand for us to work with. I think myself and Arkusti are over there semi-regularly as well. So it is an associated community for us as well. And yeah, in general, you can see Tom has posted in the chat a little bit of update on Pool Together. I will mention as well that probably the biggest thing that's missing from our flow, and I didn't put this in the rewards in the output for the rewards because it wasn't specific to rewards, but in general, through our user tests, we also know that there's not a lot of reason for people to be using BCard right now because they're not really interested in getting bank rewards or getting OETH rewards, and they're not part of the Nouns community. So adding more communities is one of the best ways for us to create a product that people actually want to use. So with this Pool Together launch, it will create, first of all, a reason for those people who are already part of the Pool Together community to start getting Pool, but also other people who may want to try BCard and they're not interested in things like they're not interested in these other communities, but they've heard of Pool Together, so they might decide to use Pool. So that's an interesting note, I think, and one thing I think everyone should know: the more communities we have, the more chances we have that one of those communities is actually going to be interesting to someone. All right, going on to the support site updates, we have some articles, an update to our how BCard safeguards your personal data with an update on how transaction data is used, and also an update on articles which shows ways to connect BCard. This is a new article that Blue Bear's working on, and the intent is, well, there's thousands of banks in the United States, which ones have actually successfully worked? And are there other non-standard ways like Beam that will allow us to do things with the US financial system? Good and bad things about the US financial system. Good things is because there are so many different ways to do things, you can usually figure out a workaround to do things the way that you want to do them. The bad thing is that because there's so many different ways to do things, it can sometimes be harder from a user perspective. So we are in a unique position to try to help our users understand this a little bit better. So thanks to Blue Bear on that. Next up, we're going to be emphasizing Apple and Google Pay. One of the biggest gaps, I think, bigger than the issues with our rewards, are the fact that when people sign up, they don't have, they're not clear on the next action to take. They usually wait for a physical card. So what we are going to be doing is emphasizing Apple and Google Pay and hopefully taking them through the add to Apple and Google Pay on the onboarding screen itself. So you will sign up for a card, you will get approved. When you get approved, we will automatically load $1 onto your card, and this will allow you to add your card to Apple and Google Pay. So then we will take the user through the process of adding their card, and then after we have that in place, we will eliminate the physical card for the community screen. So that is going to reduce our costs by about 70% for new users. And new user costs are some of our biggest costs as we're looking into our financials. So this is definitely going to be useful for us, and it will help users get to that aha moment faster, which is our goal. On the content funnel side, Rainus, how's this going?
Well, today I found an amazing way where where I could very easily create an animation for every community we launch. It takes me little to no time. So these are for Origin. Uh, and so I took our previous intro and I can change it with the card that is the digital card for the community and add the logo. I created this for Origin, for Pull Together, and for T Greens, because those are the assets that were in the Google Drive. I could go back and create one for nouns as well, like that, if we need it. I don't know. I don't know if we need it because we have already announced it. But yeah, this every time there's a new community with the created digital card and the logo, I can just pop it in, change it out, and export. It's in a GIF version where it loops, and it's in an MP4 video version where it does not loop. So I can add the sound effects to the video versions as well if needed. I just don't know how we're going to, because I see them as looped GIFs that we can post on like Twitter, Forecaster, and Instagram. So yeah, that's mostly from my side. I don't know what Coffee Crusher's been up to this week. She's been preparing the grant for the DAO punks, as far as I know.
Well, that grant is done, so I'm hoping like it was already submitted on Saturday, so I'm hoping that she submitted it. I wasn't quite sure. I kind of asked her, but I haven't seen her recently. So I guess we shall see. Hopefully she submitted. But I mean, Tom, you said that you were going to help her with that. Um, did you connect with her at some point?
Nothing specific in beyond the graphics that I supplied for the proofs of the samples that we could provide.
Okay. Well, hopefully she submitted it in time. So we shall see. All right. Thanks for that, Rainus. And so actually that DAO Punks, DAO Punks. Did we submit it? Unsure. We shall see. Okay. On the setting up our community funnel, NF Thinker is not able to make this meet, but Pool Together is in process of launch. Hire, I'm hoping to have the assets by next week. And so that would allow us to launch Hire ASAP as well. And Tree Gens, they're getting back to us, gathering assets from Tree Gens as well. So hopefully, I mean, if we're able to launch more communities, that would be better. Actually, in the financials, we actually have to increase our cadence of launching communities somewhat, pretty considerably. We'll go over it a little bit further as we go down, but for now, if we can launch, like our goal was to launch 2 communities this month. If we can launch all 3, which I think is probably not going to happen because we're already kind of midway through the month. But if we're able to launch more, that wouldn't be a bad thing. So we shall see. We have released 200K. Well, hopefully the DAO Punks grant went through. Not quite sure. We have deployed our new brand. Want to give an update on the website, Andy and Jonathan?
Hey, what up? What up? The update on website is that I need to set up a meeting with Brett to kind of see where the things are going on now, like from my design to like his input. So actually I'm just gonna write him a message right now and try to get a hold of him and yeah, see if he's free for a meeting anytime soon.
Sweet. And what about on the implementation side, Jonathan? How's that looking?
Hello.
He's setting up his mic. Oh,
Here he is.
Wait, I'm having problem. Yeah.
I can hear you.
I can hear. Oh, nice. For the update, it's still completed till how BCard works section. Mobile and web. Reporter is abroad right now till 19 July, so he hasn't computer and he cannot send me the latest updates. But we're working on it, and hopefully we will make it fast.
Sorry, so what are you blocked on right now? You're missing some updates on. You said you're blocked on
Yeah,
something?
I'm missing latest updates that reporter has made because he's not in the country right now. He has been working on it. He said he has done more, but I don't know what that is right now.
Or terrorists. That's how you do it. Report terrorists, right?
Yeah,
Currently out of the country. Okay. Great. Thanks for that update, Jonathan. I appreciate it.
thank you.
All right. Let's get into our all team projects. I will duplicate this. Okay, week 29. All right, and while we're waiting for that to come in, our milestones are the same. We just went through those. Base on-chain summer, they extended the deadline until August 1st for judging. So Crypto Dad and Tom, you should have gotten your staked ETH back though. They made a stake 0.002 ETH. So I got mine back. Hopefully you guys got yours back as well. And yeah, okay, great. And the as well the quadratic round I think is over now, so they should be distributing that funding pretty soon. I don't know where they will send it though, because they only have our 3 individual wallet addresses, so it's very likely that it'll go to one of our wallet addresses. I don't think I posted in our base multisig. I might have. Anyways, I'll double check where it will go, but it's not a lot as well. I think it's like 0.04 or even less that we ended up getting from that round. So not a ton, but still something that's worth putting into our multisig if we get it. So August 1st, we'll take a look at this again. DAO Spring Grants, this is something that I will submit when I get some time. This week's section, well, DAO Punks was at the top here. I'll just send Coffee Crusher a little message at coffee. Did you end up submitting this? All right. How BCard safeguards your personal data. How's this looking, Bluebear? Do you need a review on this now?
No, I finished off those last articles. I have not gotten to the updated legal stuff yet. I will do that either tonight or tomorrow.
So does this particular one, how BCard safeguards your data? Oh, this is for the BCard safeguards your data. Okay. Okay. But there was another article that you're working on as well. Oh, this one. Does this one need a review now? Like you said, it's done?
Yeah, it's done. You
Okay.
can definitely review it. It's up.
Okay. I will throw it up. Throw it on me to review. Next step, review. All right, great. Nice. And community pool together. Well, when we're releasing a community, I always like to put it at the top of the list. So from a partnership perspective, I have put all of the stuff into this where's the G Drive link? Into this G Drive link. Here it is. Pull together partner assets. And so I think that we are now unlocked from a communication perspective. G Drive, I'll put it here. And display name, we have all this stuff. Point of contact, yep, this exists there. I'll just double check this today, but I think that we can now put this into the inbox. And Rainus, I will assign to you, I guess, to manage this part of the launch.
you ready?
All right, cool. So yeah, we are off to the races on Pool Together, and hopefully we can get that out as we do. So from the partnership perspective, I think it's pretty much done. Yeah, I actually did that, and I did this. So only thing we're missing now. Well, we didn't get quite all that, but it's not really needed. So the only thing we're missing now is we're actually going to do a contest with our community to potentially replace the card image that we have. But NF Thinker made us kind of like a default card image, so we could launch and then change a card image later if we really wanted. So this is pretty much done, and I'll put it here from a partnership perspective. And so, yep, it's moving. Tree gen, this is also pretty, tree gen, also pretty important. I will go ahead and put it right under the DAO Punks grant. And as I said, it looks like he's created a card and waiting for replies from tree gen. And tree gen was recently mentioned by Kevin Owaki, so that's a nice one potentially to get a Twitter audience going on. So we shall see. User testing of the rewards flow. This is complete. So I'm going to mark this as done. We created another task which actually tracks the work that needs to be done as an output from the user rewards in the user testing. Nouns DAO, nouns naming service. Well, I guess like this is at Coffee Crusher. Did you have a chance to finish the how-to article? All right. Update cash flow for POC. How's this going, Arcusty?
Okay, well, I'm reviewing what you did on the business model version and trying to think about ways to refactor or adjust the work that I've done.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I'm kind of like absorbing the business model cash flow that you had put together and figuring out how to what I need to do to adjust what my process is.
Yeah, so I think like yours is more detailed, and I think like
Yep.
like I think like the best case for like, or the most important thing from yours is more to track how we have done. Like I think like yours should be like more realistic, based on what we have right now. Whereas the one I did was really aspirational. It's kind of like based on what our targets are. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Totally. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about our targets versus our other things, but essentially, like what is like a cash flow that we consume internally should be more conservative than a cash flow that we share externally.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Because we want to be harder on ourselves than we want others to be.
Yep. Totally. Okay,
cool. So we'll discuss this a little bit more, and there's a discussion item a little bit further down on the strategy document. So I worked on the cash flow for this. This is going to be going on kind of behind the scenes. I didn't want to like block on this, but in general, I think it's really important for me, especially. Basically, the strategy document is a way for me to convince myself that this is still a good project to pursue. And then once I convince myself, the intent is to like use the strategy document to convince the rest of the team. And once that happens, we can hopefully be certain that sharing this externally will be able to convince people that this is a good opportunity for us to be pursuing. So I do think it's important for us to do regularly, and I'm just going to continue trucking on that. In terms of the website, we already talked about this. Jonathan, design.
Just a little side note about the website. Maybe if you have the pictures of for the section of the teammates, the team.
Mm-hmm. Who should be on this section, do you think?
You're asking me? Well, the main people that you links. NF Thinker probably, right? Because you both do the how could you say, like, getting the grants and the monies and the funnies. How could I,
Yeah,
I don't know.
send that list of people we put in the grants as well.
Links
because
NF Thinker.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You
Okay,
just like
we'll start with
main-
those, and then maybe we can add. Like, honestly, I would love to do like, you know how we talked about running people's photos through ChatGPT and having that kind of
yeah.
and kind of
That's
having
what
that.
I want to get the photos as soon as possible so I can start, kind of doing that experiment
Yeah.
if I can animate them
So
with AI.
maybe on that main page we'll have like 3, but then
Mhm.
I think everyone should have that treatment for a photo. So if you're listening to this, you're on the team, and I want you to go ahead and give a photo to Andy. And Andy, what's the best way to do it? Maybe we should create a spot on the Google Drive that people can just upload their photos into.
Yeah. Should I do that with I don't well, we probably have a Google Drive for the project, right?
I'm not sure.
Yes, of
Let's
course.
take a look here. So we have this here, and I would say like it could be part of the communication team, or I could make one under projects. But I don't see where there is a new. Let's do one here. So let's create a new project here.
Yeah, and just a side note, for now, if you have any like headshots or portraits, you can send them, and I can, start trying something. I'm gonna try with my own portrait also. Just kind of like don't think too much of it. In the perfect world, it would be nice to have like a nicely done portrait with a white background. But if you don't have that or don't have the option to do that, then just send anything. And I think if I'm gonna run it through the AI and try to make it like a stylish, animated picture of like an avatar of us, it won't matter in the end if there's a perfect white background in the original photo. And if anything, we're gonna figure it out anyways.
I don't actually think that I have your email.
Oh, I send it in the chat right here so you can.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead and send it to me in a DM or something.
Can I do it in this public stage or shouldn't I? I don't know. I'm so
You can
bad
send
at.
it to me in DM. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll send you a DM.
Okay.
And yeah, that's
Sounds
that.
good. All right. Okay. Missing photos and implementation. Well, we had done up to how BCard works, mobile design complete, report pay risk has them on his computer and is currently traveling. All right, great. Thanks for that update. Create an announcement channel on our Discord. This is done as far as I can tell. So I'm going to go ahead and mark it as complete. The next brand, well, I mean, we haven't really been talking about this. I'll put it into next up. Video content. We now have a template for video content, and you can kind of see them here. Okay. Sounds good. And then Origin Network communication campaign. I'll leave this where it is for now. But essentially, videos now exist. I'll put them there so we can launch those when we can. All right. Nice. So here's the website v3 editor. I'll send that to you. Sure. Anyways, what I'm gonna do is, what the? All right, access updated. I'm gonna add a team photos, and I'm gonna make this specifically share anyone with the link can edit. Okay, so this is an open link on this team photos. You can now and I'll put it into the public stage here. And I'll put it into the team chat here at team. Upload your photos here so that Andy can use DALL-E to make them look cool for our website. Thanks. Okay, here we go. All right, so that's kind of it from our Asana perspective. Anything else that we're working on that's not here on Asana? I do think that we have something in the product weekly, which is this update rewards based upon user tests. I'll add that to the all team projects this week. And create support articles on successful connections. This is to review actually, but I will put it here to review. And I think I'm going to make a new task for this Apple Google Pay for community card. This is there's a couple of things on here, but yeah, let me see. Okay, cool. So looks like that's it for now. Anything else on here that we want to that we want to call out as something that we're working on? No? Okay, great. Let's go back into the weekly all hands. Oh, nice, Tom. You added your stuff that you shipped last week. I did not, so I should do that as well. But Tom deployed new V5 contracts for Bank and Nogs and prepared them for production deploy at the end of the month. Tom initiated the integration of pooled together assets into the staging app. Tom built and implemented the basic NFT reader functionality to enable partner rewards and contributor display of their NFTs in the BCard app. In service of seeking Dowpunk's grant and future pitch to Bored Ape Yacht Club. Tom retrofit the rewards claiming process on production to enable hotfix for Bank and Nogs rewards that were naturally recorded in as floats instead of ints, and updated the market rules for claimability as well. Anything else that other people worked on? I'm going to go ahead and throw some of my stuff on here. So links, gathered all assets from pool together to get it ready for launch. Links updated, business model playbook, including financials and BM canvas. What else we get? Oh yeah, links and Blue Bear ran 4 user tests for rewards flow and summarized the output and created next steps to address issues. So that's something we did as well. Rewards disbursement. Oh yeah, links, Tom refilled the rewards multi-sigs so that users can claim their rewards. So we do NF Thinker, created some Dowpunk cards to tease for the Dowpunks grant. Hopefully, Coffee Crusher submitted it. And I think that is just about it, if I'm not mistaken. Anything else that anyone? Oh yeah, Rainus created a video template to allow us to make launch videos faster, and created launch videos for Pool Together, Origin, Pregens. Anything else? All right, great. Good week. Next up, we have the financials here. So we'll take a look here. So these financials, they're really geared towards they're really geared towards easy consumption. They are vastly simplified compared to the financials Arkusti and I have been working on as part of the ops team. And they're really meant to encode a few things. I would say that they're not quite done yet, but the basic idea around here is, so we have these assumptions at the top. These are our shared communities. I realized I used to just have communities. I realized that we probably need to add custom communities, but I might remove this for now. And then we have users per new community. We are saying this is at 100. I think this is achievable given what we know about the market. But if you look at the amount of communities we need here, do we actually have this many communities with this many people? Do we actually have 133 communities by the end of 2025? I think it's possible for us to get 133 communities. Is it possible for us to get 133 communities with 100 people per community? Actually, yes, it is possible. There could be one community that provides us like 1,000 users, for instance, but we don't quite know. Anyways, I would say that like it remains to be seen whether or not this number is actually true, but it's still a defensible number that we can kind of use externally. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things for this to understand for this cash flow is really for external consumption. We don't want to use this for our internal consumption necessarily, except as like a goal / aspiration. It's a sanity check to make sure that what we're saying is actually a potentially good business, right? So if we can get 100 users per new community, and we know that there are like thousands of DAOs and they have millions of members, yeah, I think it's possible. Another thing is our consumer acquisition cost, $5. It remains to be seen if we can do this, but right now we're effectively spending zero on customer acquisition costs. We're actually spending like no money right now. So $5 would be very cheap. For the credit card industry, it can be anywhere from $30 to $200 per user. So that's something to note. TX volume per user, 1,000. Right now, we're not doing 1,000 per user. We're doing something like $27 per user per month. Okay, so from all the research we've done, this is possible, but our product doesn't really make it possible yet because there are a few issues with this. Is it possible for us to achieve 1,000? Yes, if we do things like allow users to use Apple, Google Pay immediately, distribute to people who are actually using Apple, Google Pay, those kinds of things. Cost per new card program, these are all validated actually. All of these are validated. And then this contributor reward rate, this is how much of the profit after our fixed costs or after our acquisition costs are we distributing to contributors. So I put this as 90%. And it will be 90%, but likely over time it'll change. Like, so as 90% when we have less money, but as we start to make more money, we might want to reduce that down to something like 50% or something like that. And then we start paying back as well past contributors and our patrons as well. So at first we want to set this at 90%, but as we go on, this will probably go lower. So what does that mean? So here, users at start of month 100. This is not quite true, right? But essentially, we're saying if we launch 2 new communities in July, and it's already July, and we haven't done this yet, we should be able to get 300 users. And if they're spending 1,000 per month, they're making 300,000. They're doing 300,000 in transaction volume. So that gets us a 10 basis points for interchange rates. And this is kind of like our interchange revenue for 300 users. We're essentially making $1 a user per month if this all works out. Okay. And so we also have these other 2 revenue streams, which I haven't really gone too in depth into. I wanted to see if this core business would work on its own. And so for this core business, if we don't have custom cards, we actually have 0 program setup fees. And then we do have some card issuing costs. Now, in this case, I reduced our card issuing costs to just using our only using digital cards, not using physical cards. Okay. And so that's something I think that it's something that we just talked about. But it's something that's not happening quite yet, right? And so you can see, like, if we were only doing this, it would cost us $90 to distribute these cards to 300 users. to 200 users rather, and then we would give $150 back to the communities. We are saying we're spending $5 per user here, which we're actually spending 0 right now, and so you can see that we end up having a revenue of 300 and a cost of 1,840. But then the idea is that, like, okay, after we've acquired these users and given them a card, we should be able to, now those users, those 200 users, hopefully they stick around with us month over month over month and continue to spend, and that will build up over time. So if we look at these financials and we assume 100 per community, so far we have 30 signups per community and 8.5 active users in a month, 8.5 user per community per month. So it's not as good as this yet, but it's still achievable. And 1,000 monthly transaction volume. So far we have 27 per user per month. Then if we assume these things, then if we continue on with 0 consumer acquisition costs, then we can start giving contributor rewards at 800 users. So that means that at 800 users, so if I put that in here, let's just say that consumer acquisition cost is 0. You can see around here is when we start to give contributor rewards when we have about 800 users. So that's September here. Yeah, so this is where we start to give contributor rewards around 800 users. And then, it's a very small amount, but that's when we can start to distribute to our internal team. But if we have 10,000 users, we're going to be making 17,000 a month in contributor rewards. So that is kind of over here. If we look at 10,000 users, it's right about here. And so we'll have about 17,000 in contributor rewards a month. Actually, let me just do this so I can see it better. Yeah, so you can see our contributor rewards are then 17,000 a month, right? So that's kind of just giving us some overall milestones to aim for here, okay? And so I'm going to put this back to 5, which is, again, incredibly low for the credit card industry. And if we spend $5 to acquire new users, then at 23,500 users, so when it goes to here in December 2024, then we will have 2,500 users. We have about that's when we can start giving out contributor rewards. And with 10,000 users, which is right around here in September 2025, we will be giving out like around 12,000 in rewards, 12,500 in rewards per month. Okay, so that's what we're aiming to do with these like basic costs. Again, really high level. This is really meant to be a sanity check or an aspirational goal to say, is it possible to make money with this business model that we have right now? Now you notice I have like 0 consumer acquisition costs and $5 consumer acquisition costs. Why should we spend on consumer acquisition if we're spending 0 right now? The idea is that if we spend money on attracting users, we can get more users faster. Now, I would say that this only really works if our product actually meets our incoming users' needs. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is that we actually have a distribution channel that is a marketing channel where we can add money and be guaranteed of getting users. Right now, we don't really have that. We haven't really figured out the distribution aspect of this yet. I haven't been worrying about this too much because we still have some issues with our product that need to be fixed. But if we don't have, like, if I say, okay, we're going to start spending $5 per user on we're going to start spending $5 to try to get new users. So we want 100 users this month. We're going to spend $500. What would we spend that on? We don't actually have anything that we've tried that we could reliably spend that on. We've had some ideas in the past, but we haven't tried them. So I would say that we can't actually spend $5 yet for 2 reasons. One, our product's not ready for it. Any users that we add to the product right now, they won't stick around. They'll churn. Okay. Next, we just don't have a distribution channel where we can actually put $5 per user. So I think it's really important for us to work on those 2 things. And our 2 top priorities based on these financials. Again, these financials are helping us kind of look at our top level strategy. That's why I did these in the first place, was for our business strategy. Our top priorities based on these financials: 1, for the product team to increase monthly transaction volume per user. So I said users would churn and this kind of thing. So we can see that they're churning. So the product team, so that's me, Tom, Blue Bear, and others, we really need to work on how are we going to get users to spend more money. And one of making sure that users stick around. Another one is ensuring that users have a way to load money onto their card quicker so they can get to that aha moment quicker. Another way is to get rewards that users actually want to claim on BCard. So, you know, adding new communities like Pool Together, like Tree Gens, all of these things are related to building a product that people actually want to use, and that will increase our monthly transaction volume per user. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Makes sense for me.
Okay, and the second priority is for, and this is for the communication and partnerships team, to increase the number of users. And so what this really means is, from a partnerships perspective, is getting those new communities. And partnership kind of straddles both of these product and partnerships. So yeah, I guess I should probably, I like it better the way that I was saying it before. Make a product that people want to use. So this is kind of product and partnerships. And so this is make it easier to get up and running. Apple, Google, ACH, etc. And this is for the product team. Give rewards people actually want. And this is for partnerships and product team. And what was the other thing that I said? Make it worse people actually get up and running. I can't remember. Anyways, so that is kind of ultimately, and so this is really this. This is products and partnership. And then in this one, increase number of users, or get communities to help with our distribution, partnership. Get communities that people care about, partnerships. Figure out which distribution channels can bring us steady users for investment communication. Okay, so it's not enough for us to be on the communication side, especially, and on the partnership side. It's like we have to worry, especially since we're a smaller team, we have to worry about quality as well as quantity. It's not enough for us to get 10 communities on BCard. We have to get 10 communities people care about on BCard. Okay, and same for the communication side. It's not enough for us to put out content. We have to put content we have to put out content that will resonate with people, and that's going to be based upon both the channel that you're putting that content on. So it might be Twitter, it might be another channel. It's going to depend on the channel, and it's going to depend on the type of content. So it has to be content that's actually going to get people's attention and get them to click through. Okay, and so typically what you would do from a content perspective, when you're looking, or like communication perspective, when you're looking to actually find that channel, is you spend kind of like 100% of your time trying to find that channel first, and then you spend and then when you figure out what that channel is, you spend 80% of your time trying to find that, like exploiting that channel to the best of your ability, and then you spend 20% of your time experimenting to find the next channel. Okay, so this is kind of like a basic communication strategy for startups. Is that in general, when you're looking at your channels that you're communicating with your users, and this is how you acquire your users, you're focusing on one channel at a time, and those channels are going to slowly lose their effectiveness over time. Maybe not even slowly. Maybe you max out a channel and it's no longer useful for you. So the channel that works for us today may not work for us tomorrow. Okay. And again, it's all about having a good channel that enables us to reach a certain user with a certain message and that actually resonates for them. Okay, so we have a lot of, based upon these financials, we have a lot of work in front of us, right? We need to make a product that people want to use. We need to have a message that people want to hear and give it to people in the place that they actually want to, in the places where they are. And you can kind of see that from a business model perspective, these are very achievable numbers. Okay, 10,000 users is a very achievable number. And it wouldn't, like this, if we were spending $5 a user, this 12.5K a month, it's not going to replace anyone's full-time salary, but it's definitely going to help us be able to spend more time on this. Okay. And then when we can spend more time on it, all of a sudden we can do even better. We can make a product that even more people want to use. We can set it up so that we can get into more distribution channels, and it turns into a virtuous cycle. So that's what I really want you guys to take away from these financials is that these milestones that we're looking at, like first, I guess the first milestone is probably this kind of like 800 users and this 800 users and doing 1,000 monthly transaction volume. If we can get to that point, we are now in many ways sustainable. Like that product can now kind of work on its own. So that is our first milestone is to get 800 users spending 1,000 a month. If we can make that happen, it turns into a bit of a virtuous cycle, and then we can get to 10,000 users, and we are spending 12.5K a month. We are earning 12.5K a month, and then we can figure out our next milestone from there. Okay. Is this making sense? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Yeah, it all makes sense. I think there's a lot of words to go through to outline it all, but it all makes sense to me.
Are there any questions or comments on this? No questions, no comments.
I do.
Let's hear it.
So $800,000 monthly spend, basically a preloaded card.
Yep.
Do you have any stats on like these prepaid or preload cards, like average load amount, things like that?
Yeah, I do. I don't have them at my fingertips.
I don't mean
right
necessarily
now,
for us, but I mean industry wide.
Industry
like for
wide,
different
I
types
do.
of vendor
I do.
cards.
And so it's 1,200.
Okay.
If you look at like industry wide in the States for some of these like prepaid cards and these prepaid card programs, and it's typically these prepaid cards are used by lower income people. Like the demographics are kind of a different demographic than we're going for. So we may not be able to get like an exact, like, because we're going for a different market, but in general, like industry wide in 2023, I think is when we got the numbers. I have a report from Lord Elvick, which kind of outlines this. It's 1,200 around per card. Per user per month on their card. And so this is for a lot of these prepaid card programs. And we also have our own research where people were saying that they were spending like 3,000 to 4,000 a month on cards, and they would send us. They would, if our card met their needs, they would like move 50% of their spending over. So I think 1,000 is it's an aspirational goal, but it's also reasonable based on the data that we have.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, just personally, it seemed I'm kind of surprised by it. I would think that those prepaid cards would have a lower monthly usage on them. Just
so one of the
way I use
things
cards.
that some of the ways that these prepaid cards work is that they actually allow you to like deposit your paycheck to your account. And so it's like in some ways like a mini bank account that accepts even people who don't have good credit. So it's like if you look at that like prepaid card industry, that is one of the let's say product ideas that works. It's like a way for people to like, it's like a quick and easy bank account for some people. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Part of the reason I asked some of these questions is, we're talking about demographics and what is our demographic. And I was going to bring up a thought about trying to get these recurring usage, but it really does depend on the demographic. So, the demographic you had mentioned that may or may not be our target market, which is the budgeting side of it. And I had thought about this the other day. That may be one way to get people to use it more. Again, this depends on the demographics, but using it as a budgeting tool. So you have a recurring transfer, whether it's from your paycheck or you're just transferring it from a regular bank account. And that's a budgeted amount you're putting on the card every month that goes toward a specific set of let's say budget categories or a category or a couple of categories of things that you want to manage your spending. And I'm just wondering if maybe that's an approach we could take. But again, it depends on the demographic. And if that's not who we're really going for, then it's not going to resonate with them. But anyway, that's something that had popped into my head about trying to get that recurring usage and muscle memory and that kind of thing.
Yeah, in general, there are some like twice in the user tests out of 4 user tests, people mentioned recurring payments. One, someone said, "Oh, I have recurring payments. Should I maybe I should set that up?" And another one was, "Oh, I want to set up my BCard to pay for my Netflix and a couple other like Amazon Prime and a couple other recurring payments I have, but my bank doesn't allow me to send recurring payments." So they like basically they wanted to use their BCard to pay for these things so that they could get regular rewards for these purchases. So it's something that we need to look at a little bit closer to see, because it's like we can do that if we were using something like a Plaid, but we can't really do that with our current setup right now. We can only do it if we're doing like an ACH pull transfer and not a push transfer, and we don't have the ability to do that quite yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of ways that things that would get people where it's not where you have to think about it every time. You get some automatic stuff set up and you're using recurring stuff, so you're kind of spending whether you remember to or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe
Right.
if we have the app be more engaging, just to get people looking at the app, they'll think about using the card more because of just more awareness, perhaps.
Yeah, and the thing, like our rewards are a key part of this. The NFT
I know we
releases
talked
are a key
about the
part of this.
community utility enabling, voting and whatever. That's all stuff that'll sort of lead people towards sort of more app usage and exposure, which will sort of put the cardboard at top of mind when purchases are coming down the pipeline, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I have another meeting that I need to get to. Just want to take a few minutes to say thank you to everyone for being here. As you can see, we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we've also had a lot of work behind us too. So I think that, again, we're in the best position we've ever been in terms of BCard. We have a proof of concept out there. We're talking about how we can get users spending more money. It's not about how do we even get a card out there. It's about how do we get more communities, more users on here. And we are trying to uncover what it is that will make this product actually work. And I think it's really important when you talk about product development to understand that every product, you can't just take it and put it into a new context and it's going to work. Every audience has different needs. Every user segment has different needs. Every product, even if it's delivering the same thing, if you deliver it in a slightly different way, that can be all the difference. I mean, even I don't know if you guys remember daily deals. Daily deals are essentially just coupons, and they repackaged them up as daily deals, and people started going nuts for those things, right? And so it really is a matter of trying a bunch of different things. We don't know what's going to make it work, but if we do it, it's not impossible for us to get to that milestone, 12,000 people, overnight. Okay. And so just remember that, like that overnight success, it seems like overnight success for people externally, but internally we know it's because we're experimenting and iterating on a weekly basis. So thanks everyone for being here, and let's keep experimenting, and eventually we're going to have our day.
Thanks, everybody. Let's keep
All
making
right,
cool
thank
stuff.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.